Alright, got the car all loaded up. Gonna head out to the track and just double checking my tie downs here before we get going. And Weaver's helping me. Where is she? Where is it, Wee? Does everything look good? Did you inspect? I might put like a block of wood in here so I get to the right spot every time, because I don't like the way sometimes it's like a little bit too close or too far and the front straps hit here. But other than that, I mean, it's on. And we'll get out there and hopefully we can get into the 10s and stay there this time. You know, that would be ideal. But we'll see. But yep, we're loaded. We're ready. And Weaver's gonna supervise. Wee, what are you doing? And yeah, hopefully everything goes good this time. So stand by. see. Let's see what we got. Thank you. I don't know. Let's see here. No. Still the same. 1124. I just cannot get back into the tens. I don't know what is going on. Oh, you know, I don't know. It felt a little stronger, but I don't know, man. My 60-foot time was 172, which is kind of shitty again. So, I don't know. I'm gonna have to. I even turned it up a little bit on that pass. So I don't know, it should have went faster. I'm gonna have to look at the data and see what was going on there. So, stand by. Alright guys, so we're back. I was just going over the time slips from last night and comparing my runs from last night to the runs from last week, and it seems like, so I had the 1080 run last week, and on that run my 60-foot time was 1.75, which, you know, is really not all that great. I mean, it's okay. I mean, once again, I'm only leaving on like 1.5 to 2 pounds of boost. But like here on another run last week, it ran 11:28, and my 60-foot time was a 1.70. So I have a feeling, so judging from those numbers and the numbers from last night, my 60-foot times seem to be, I guess, me, I think it's more me when I release the button and the brake at the same time, because I'm foot braking it. And I guess it's maybe them couple fractions of a second difference between the brakes releasing and my hand releasing of the button. I think it has something to do with that timing, because I'm leaving on the same amount of boost every time. Like the most boost, I could sit there all the time. I could sit there on the starting line, and actually it happened last night. I got staged way too early, and the other guy wasn't even lighting up. I was just like in a hurry to go, and I was like, I lit up the top bulbs, second bulbs, and then I got on the two-step, and I was just waiting for this guy to, and I shouldn't have did that, but it never went past it held steady at like 2 psi. I looked at the data. So I can, like I said, it doesn't matter how long I'm on the two-step, it's still only going to build 2 pounds of boost, was the most it's ever going to make. And even at 2 pounds, the car is very slowly pushing, and I actually ended up, you know, turning off the bottom 2 yellow bulbs while I was waiting, and you know, screwed that up. But really, I'm not really worried about, you know, like, I'm just trying to get good at, you know, getting good at the launch, letting go of the buttons, and making my shifts right when the shift light comes on. And so that's really all I was concerned about. Wasn't really trying to work on reaction time or anything like that. I'm just working on getting getting the motions down, so I know exactly what I'm doing every time, because it doesn't sound like a lot, but for me it's a lot to remember to do everything. And then so I also had the in-car camera set up back here on the back window, like looking this way, so I could watch the videos and actually see, you know, me release, and because you can kind of see the tree a little bit, so I can kind of see that, and then I can see when the shift light comes on and when I'm shifting, and kind of judge that, like how long it takes me. And then going over the data, I can kind of fine tune when the light comes on, as opposed to how long it takes me from me seeing the light to actually shifting the car. And I've been tweaking that a little bit here and there. And then I also, I think you'll be able to see it in the video, I had a lot of problems with that camera. Like, I keep it mounted on the back all the time, and I turn the camera on, like while I'm pulling up in the staging lanes and I'm putting my belts on and everything, I turn that camera on, and then you have to turn it on, you have to wait like 5 seconds for it to come on, and then you press the button on the top of the camera for it to start recording. So I do all that while I'm in the staging lane, and for some reason, like, the light that tells you that it's like recording is on the top of it, not on the front. So I can never see from right here, being belted in, that it's recording. So it got screwed up, and a couple passes I missed, because I ended up making, I think, 4 runs last night, and out of the 4 runs, I think it only worked like once or twice. I'll have to double check when I'm doing the editing in here in a few minutes. So yeah, I was kind of pissed off about that. I mean, it's not, you know, really a big deal, but anyways, back to the shift light thing. So I'll bring you in over here. I put a, I can't really show you because the car's off and I don't have the key, but right here is the factory check engine light, and I wired that up. I put like, I think 3 or 4 LEDs in here from the back, and I wired them all to the Terminator X to come on as my shift light, so it'll flash check engine light. The only downside, and I thought it was a brilliant idea, because it has these over here that this whole row lights up as a shift light, but when I'm sitting right here, if you'll notice, like, this is kind of like my view out the window, you know, like if you look down, I can see these lights, but for some reason I didn't trust, because this is like an aftermarket Tinker Dash, and I, for some reason, couldn't understand, like, it didn't see, it seemed like I had this set for 6300, and it seemed like I would see the light and I would shift, and I'd be at like almost like 6800 by the time I shifted. So I thought maybe that this wasn't reading properly, and that's why my shifting was screwed up. So that's why I added the one over here to the check engine light, which is directly from the computer. But no, they both came on at the same time, but now I just realized, like, I can barely see it, like, because the steering wheel is right there. So I think I might get rid of that and just put like a single blue LED, like right here in this area right here at the top of the dash. I have like a nice little bright blue LED light, and I might unhook it from that, drill a little hole right here and put it in here, because they're pretty bright. I'll definitely see that. I was just trying to keep it clean with, you know, nothing there. And then, like, I added these buttons here instead of having the button on my shifter, and I like it because it's, you know, I can have both hands on the wheel, and I like it. But I hate these freaking wires. Like, this is so annoying. Like, when you're making turns, it's getting wrapped around, and then it gets real tight, and so I got to play with that. And it's like a fine line between tight enough so it doesn't, you know, sag down here and hit my legs, but loose enough so that I can make the revolutions on the wheel making my turn. So I'm going to mess with that maybe this week. And then I keep forgetting, but I called last week, but nobody answered the phone, but I'm going to call again about trans brake for this transmission. I'll call Vickers, and that's who I use for my transmissions, and I'll call them and I'll see what he says. Ultimately, I'd really like to get the trans brake in this, and then that way I can build, like, hopefully I'll be able to build like 5 pounds on the starting line, and I'll be able to get a much faster 60-foot time, and you know, obviously that'll translate to a faster ET. So that's the plan. I'm gonna call him this week, see what he says. So I don't know, we'll see what happens there. I'm hoping that it's like the transmission's kind of already set up, like, good for that, and I won't have to take, if I have to take the transmission out of the car and, you know, bring it to them, that's really gonna suck. I'm hoping I can just buy the trans brake kit and, like, put it in myself. But like I said, I want to make sure it's okay with them first, because, you know, this is their build, and I don't know exactly what they did to the transmission. I mean, I know, like, some of the shit, but it's been a while, and I don't even know where the paperwork is for it, so I couldn't tell you. So I'm just going to call him and see what he says, and we'll go from there. But just, you know, keep watching, and make sure you're subscribed, and give me a like, and you know, tell your friends. And I'd like to get some more subscribers. I think right now I'm only at, like, I think 170 or something like that. And you know, I'd like to get my subscribers up a little bit, so I could, you know, at least start making a few dollars off of the videos, and then in turn I can make better videos. Like right now I do everything myself, you know, camera and editing and driving the car and working on the car. I mean, I get some help here and there, but, you know, it's a lot. So it's a lot to remember, and it's a lot of shit to keep track of, and it's, you know, sometimes it's just a pain in the ass. Like, so yeah, it would be nice to get a few dollars from the videos, you know, and that definitely helped me with, you know, making the car, you know, a little more consistent, and, you know, shit like that. But my stuff's blowing away over here. But yeah, it was a great night. Nice cool weather. I should have made tons of power, which the car, I don't know, it felt okay, but I didn't feel like it was pulling as hard. I don't know, maybe it's just in my head, or maybe now because I'm getting used to it because I've done so many passes in it, but it seemed like when I was in the 10s, when I made that first pass in the 10s, it felt really good, and I was, like, super impressed. And then it was like, now it's just, you know, 11.2, 11.3, you know, it's like, and I left the same, it was the same tune-up from the 1080 pass. I left everything the same. The only thing I played with was my shift light coming on a little earlier to give me more time to shift. And I played with that a little bit, not too much. And then, like a Hail Mary, like the last pass of the night, I was like, screw it, I'm going to turn my dome pressure up to 7 instead of 5. So I would make, like, I was hoping it would make like 15 to 18 pounds a boost. And I think it barely got to 14.5 or something like that. So I'll have to see what that's about. Maybe do some fine tuning there with the Mac valve. But yeah, it's like, seemed like no matter what I did, it was just kind of stuck in the 11s all night, and it was very frustrating. But like I said, I think maybe it was me. Maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's me when I'm leaving and I'm not super consistent on my button and my brake. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I talked to the tuner, my buddy Kevin, and he said, I sent him some logs. He said everything looked good with the tune-up. He said he changed a few minor tweaks, nothing crazy. We're still keeping the tune-up super safe for now. But I mean, really, even if we leaned it out more and gave it a little bit more timing, I mean, I'm kind of limited because I'm running on regular 93 octane pump gas. I'm not running race gas or E85. So, you know, I'd want to still try to keep it kind of safe. But yeah, I'm like, the car should be in the 10s the way it is now with this tune-up. And if I do everything properly, it should run 1050s, no problem, which is right where I want to be. And I'd be happy with it. Like, if I could just get 2 1050 passes, or even 1050s, 1080s, like 2 or 3 of them in a row, I'm good. That's what I'm looking for. And you know, maybe next year or later down the road, I'll try to go into the 9s, and I'll put like a real cage in here instead of just this, you know, 6-point roll bar. But like I said, I want to try to keep the car more of a street car than, you know, a race car, you know. So, but anyways, enough rambling from me. Thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. And hopefully I'll have another video out next week, and we'll maybe do some more racing next Friday. We'll see what happens with this trans brake setup, but you know. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.